Alright guys, one of the questions I get asked the most is, hey, I'm starting with $1,000 or $5,000, what should I do? How can I be the most successful? And there is no, one answer to give you to that question, like, oh, you should buy this coin or you should be doing this, because at the end of the day, it is kind of like a casino in here. You are gambling. There are no surefire bets. There are no guaranteed winners, but there are certain things you can look for, um, which I have other videos on as well. I'll touch on them in here too, but there are certain things you can look for to increase your success. I still think that, this is the best form of gambling that exists, better than sports betting, better than casinos, by a large margin in my opinion, as a trader alone. But, you know, I will touch on how to be a better trader and some things to look for, but I think apart from that, just focusing mainly on education, not buying something every time you sign online, not being kind of like a very degen FOMO monkey, and focusing on the bigger picture. I think that's the most important thing you can do. But apart from that, something that's very overlooked, despite the fact I've had a sterling reputation for 3 years, they'll trust me on every single call I do. They'll throw their money at my plays, but they won't listen to me when I give them basic advice that I think is more important than any play I could give them. So, putting yourself out there. And what does that mean exactly? I mean connecting with people, typing on your keyboard, asking questions, providing value, learning how all this works. And you might not think that that does anything because you might not see the instant results. You might be like, oh, I've been putting myself out there and no one's noticed me, no one's paid me. Well, you got to think bigger picture than that. You got to think longer term. Even if you meet one person in a coin and you spent a week in that coin talking and typing, that one person, he could, invite you to his friends, and all of a sudden you're in on a team. And that team gives you an airdrop, and that airdrop becomes worth like $5,000 just to be a moderator in their coin. Or maybe he invites you into a private group and you meet a bunch of good people in there. And you never know where it's going to go. But most people, they don't want to put the effort in. They'd rather sit in the Telegram and just watch it play out, pull up the chart, spam some stickers, do some raids, and that's about it. They don't want to join the voice chat. They don't want to chat with the dev. They don't want to ask questions to the community members. They just want to sit there and be along for the ride. And I think that's a terrible mistake. So, at the very basic level, I mean, you could be an admin. It doesn't take any special skills or anything like that. You just add value to the Telegram, and the devs might notice you. You answer questions when people come in. You welcome people. You just talk about random stuff. You say, hey guys, the dev said blah 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 is coming. Like, are you guys excited for that? And if the dev doesn't notice you after 3 days or 4 days and you're doing a great job, maybe you can reach out and you can say, you know what? I really like this token. I'm sure you can see me. I've been in here the last 3 or 4 days trying to help out. I've noticed that you don't really have many team members on late at night. I was wondering if, I could be a mod, give me the most basic permissions, and, maybe I could help out. And even though you might not get paid on that first gig, or the second, or even the third, you might make some good connections there. That dev might bring you to his next launch. You might get in early on his next one. You might get an airdrop on his next one. Like, you never know where it's going to go. But people, if they don't see those instant results, they just quit out so easily. And it's not that hard of work. I mean, typing on your keyboard, using your mouse, I call it hard work all the time because I'm a grinder, but it doesn't take that much effort or anything. And people just aren't willing to do it. And that's just at the very basic level. I'm going to give you a ton of examples of people like myself who have made it very, very big, changed their lives, and all of us got there in the same sort of way. We put ourselves out there and we found a way to add value to the space or to certain people. We talked on the voice chats, we made connections, we asked questions, and look at us now. I'm not going to bore you with tons of story time. After that, I'll give you some great trading tips and some other things to think about, but for now, let's talk about me. So, how did I start? How did I grow to this channel? I started getting offered $500,000 every single day. I started getting offered to work with the biggest teams and getting airdrops and all that stuff. But do you want to know how I started? I joined Telegram. I knew nothing. I found some smart people. I asked them questions. I found them in the coins, in the chats, and I would ask them questions like, why did you ask the dev this? Why did you ask the dev that? What does this mean? And they would answer me. And I would take what they taught me and I'd teach other people. And I'd meet more and more people. And then one day I realized I'm in all these coins, but no one's really doing anything. No one's really raiding or getting the word out there. So I asked them, how do we do that? And someone showed me how to raid. And right away, I made a new account. I called it Raid Daddy 69. Got a fat biker as my picture, and I'd type in all caps locks, and I would just take command of that Telegram, and I would take us all over leading raids. And eventually I got noticed. The very first coin I did it on, I got noticed, and the dev offered me money. I said, no, it's fine, man. Don't worry about it. I just want to follow you around to your next one. So he did. He brought me to his next one. And I'm pretty sure he airdropped me right away. Even though I didn't ask for it, he knew I'd work harder, so he did it. And the next dev, he referred me to his friend. And I said, nah, it's okay. They don't need to pay me money. And then his friend liked me too. So his friend brought me to his next one. And about a week or two later, everyone wanted Raid Daddy 69. And they were offering me $300 an hour. And about a week or two after that, I was getting paid $500 an hour just to lead raids in a Telegram, which anybody could do. And then lots of other people started, doing what I was doing. They became raiders. People from poor countries were changing their lives just by being raiders. And I leveraged that position as a raider to build a big community and leverage that to build my big call channel, and the rest is history. So that's my personal story, but there's tons of them. Take my video editor, the guy who's going to upload this to YouTube right now. I started streaming on Twitch. I wanted to try something different, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any graphics made. I didn't know anything. And this guy, he realized that, and he came to me, and he just offered his help. And he put himself out there, used the skills he had. He was very patient with me, and I told him, I was like, okay, thanks for helping me. Let me pay you. He's like, no, it's fine, man. I just want you to do well. I respect the work you do, and I want the stream to do well. So I was persistent. I was like, okay, the more you help me, though, I am going to pay you soon. And eventually, yeah, he kept helping me and finally accepted some payment. And now what he does is he takes our AMAs, he adds the graphics to them, adds the recording, and he uploads it to YouTube for 0.1 ETH right now. And it might get higher. We just started working together, but I mean, that was $400 an hour not too long ago, just to do like an hour's work of YouTube editing. And now he can work on his own schedule, so gets a daily wage for 1 hour of work, almost the same price as like some low-level doctors and lawyers, just to listen to an AMA while recording it and putting some art on it. So once again, he just put himself out there. I'll do a couple more examples real quick, and then we can move on from this, but I hope you start to get the point. One of my admins, a young kid, he's a millionaire now. He took everything I taught him, leveraged my name, leveraged my channel to work with other channels, work with other devs. And I'm not like a greedy dude. Like, I tell these people, go ahead, blossom, go do your own thing. Don't rely on me all the time. And that's exactly what he did. And now he's a millionaire. But do you want to know why I hired him? Because I had a coin that I was running, the last coin I ever ran back in November 2021. And as the coin was going down, I was in the voice chat every day. That's what I did as a dev. I was there all the time with my people. And he was one of the last ones left. And me and him just talked to each other for like a week. And I came to like him. I came to trust him. And this 17-year-old kid who just started crypto, didn't know anything. I hired him to work with me, taught him everything I knew, and the rest is history. So last example, the coin I'm in, Read Them All right now. We have a website guy, designed our website for us. I saw it, I'm like, this is amazing, but can you tweak this, and this? He's like, sure, and he did it. And I was like, alright man, not only did you make the website, you made all my changes, and you were nice and respectful about it. Let me send you some soul. He's like, no, I want to do it just for Red. And since then, he's done a bunch of stuff for us. He's done a bunch of graphic designs. Still hasn't asked for any money. And when this is done, I'm going to be referring people to him. I'm going to say, you need a website or a graphics guy? This is your man. All because he put himself out there. He added value. And, he's a good guy. So I can't promise everyone that, puts themselves out there and puts the work in and gets noticed is going to do all right and change their lives. But if you're here anyways and you're just sitting in a Telegram chat, you might as well at least try. At least try to put yourself out there. And maybe it's not for you, but I think a lot of people, it's proven. If you look at every good call channel owner, every good dev, every good marketer, all that stuff, all of them put themselves out there for the most part. Some of them got lucky and, they got a golden horseshoe, they had a good friend or a good connection that helped them like really speed up the process, but a lot of them got there just by working hard and putting themselves out there. So don't overlook it. And even if you don't get the instant payment or the instant results, or you never get paid, I bet you're going to learn a lot more doing that than just sitting on your ass and doing nothing. So, and you might say, oh, I don't have skills though. I can't make a website. I'm not good on voice chat. I wouldn't be a good, admin on your channel. It's like, okay, a moderator, a rater, those people, they don't take any specific skills at all to do those jobs. It's just grunt work that most people don't want to do. And in most people's eyes, it's kind of worthless because you don't get paid all the time. Or if you do, it's not enough. But I'm telling you right now, time and time again, it's proven to be a very effective strategy. So that's what I would suggest for these people with $1,000 to $5,000. I'd suggest put yourself out there, slow down, educate yourself before you just start trading like crazy. And in my opinion, you're going to increase your odds a lot. Like if you're able to somehow earn passive income through other ways, or you're a moderator, so you get good connections, or you get into a private group. I mean, those are all going to increase your odds at making money. But especially if you're able to start earning passive income in any sort of way, then all of a sudden you don't have 5,000. You have 5,000 plus 2,000 coming in every month, so you're not so worried about, losing money. And when you don't have your emotions in trading, I think it's a lot easier to do better. So that's my full scale advice on putting yourself out there and finding ways to make income in crypto. There's a lot of different ways I could go over. I just want to keep this video more brief, but I think you should get the gist by now of what I'm saying, and just talk to people, connect, ask questions, learn. And then we get into the education now. So here's where I'll bring some tips as well. But don't just come on every single day and buy something. Don't be like, oh my god, I missed a 20x on this coin called apple juice. Oh, there's one called orange juice right now. I gotta go buy it. Don't be like that. Don't FOMO all the time. Right now is a little bit different in crypto because a lot of coins have tons of volume and their market cap is exceeding what they should be doing. There's a lot of hype right now. A lot of dumb traders, a lot of people just throwing all sorts of money at the stupidest place because they're making money during the bull. But when that slows down, you're going to need to know how to pick your plays a lot better and pick a lot fewer plays and hold them with more conviction instead of just spray and praying all the new crap. Because most of the stuff that gets launched every day is crap. But right now, because of the bull run, a lot of people are making money trading this crap, so it's not the worst thing to look at. But most important piece of advice I can give you is just focus on people like myself. Making YouTube videos and educational content. There's people doing it on Twitter as well, on Twitter Spaces. Certain groups you follow, they'll be focusing a lot on education. So the more education you can get, the better. Right now it's just a little tricky though. Like I said, all the stuff that normally works and should work, some of it's out the window right now because the volume, you can't ignore it. The volume and the hype is there on a lot of these plays, and sometimes it's worth throwing some small money at. But one thing you have to learn is if a play is 1 day old to 1 week old, it's very volatile. And a lot of normies, they come in here and they treat these bags like it's some serious project, and they hold it for weeks and they DCA and they keep buying on the dips, and it's like, you have to realize a lot of these teams launching are scammers. And it doesn't matter so much right now because there's so much volume pouring into each play that even a scammy team can make a moonshot, but you should not be marrying your bags on a lot of these, freshly launched coins. So my advice to people usually is if you see a massive green candle and the coin's a day old and you bought it, and it takes off like crazy, sell 25% of your bag. And you know what? It does a little dip and then it keeps flying back up. Okay, sell 25% more. And after that, it doesn't matter if the coin goes up or it goes down. If it goes up, you're gonna be happy you still have half your bag. And if it goes down, you're gonna be happy you made money on the play. So don't marry your bags like crazy. Anytime you see a super unhealthy green candle, sell some of your bag for sure. And even me, sometimes I'll just sell 25, 25, still going up. Okay, another 25. And eventually I'll just sell the whole thing. And I just tell myself, I mean, in my opinion, this thing's due for a massive dip. And even if that dip never comes, it's whatever. Even if the dip comes and I'm too scared to buy and then it flies up from the dip and I should have bought, I don't care. I still made money on the play. So on a lot of these newer plays, you got to secure your profits, in my opinion, especially when it's flying up. Obviously, you got to, factor in like how strong the narrative is, how early did you get in, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, generally, if you're buying something at like 30K and it flies up to 300, you should definitely be taking some profits on that candle. And then like if a play is 2 weeks old or a month old, I mean, those are going to be a lot safer. That's when you can hold your bags. And those are usually the plays I tell people to look for. I say, go find a chart that's been holding for 2 weeks or a month that hasn't blown up yet. If it hasn't blown up yet, a lot of those coins are due eventually. They're just building and growing and waiting and then all of a sudden one day they get rewarded. And it's not a surefire bet. Some of them just never take off and they slowly fizzle out. But in my experience, if a coin's holding up well, good floors for a long time, and there's something to the coin, like it's got a good narrative or it's got a good utility, and the team's working hard, and some reputable person like myself vouched for it, and they just keep working, and the community stays active, and the team stays active. I mean, oftentimes you're gonna see those coins do pretty well. And not only that, but you don't need to like be watching the charts for them every day. You just kind of sign on to Telegram and you take a look through the chat and you'll get a pretty good idea. So that frees up a lot of your time. And when you have a lot of time freed up, that gives you a chance to analyze the space and what's going on. Because the space runs in cycles and patterns. So there's certain narratives that just work all the time. I mean, dogs to some extent, AI to some extent, the pets of whoever owns the chain, anything related to people who own the chains, like whoever owns Ethereum, whoever owns Solana, stuff that's related to them, stuff related to Elon, dogs, cats, a lot of this kind of stuff, those are just everlasting narratives that always kind of work. A lot of them have been overdone, so you have to kind of pick your timing. Like for instance, cats. No one really cared about cats much until the last week or so, and a lot of cat coins are going crazy right now. So you have to pick up on that, and you have to realize, okay, there's definitely some potential in cats right now. And you have to track what's going on with the chains too. I mean, right now, Base and Solana are very good for memes. Before, it was just Solana. And Ethereum used to be very good for memes, and it's kind of losing its steam a bit. So that's what I mean by when you have comfier holds that you don't need to check all the time, it gives you more time to educate yourself about what's going on with the space. And it doesn't take very long. If you follow the right channels and the right people, they'll give you the info you need. They'll tell you, oh, this coin just hit 600 million market cap and it's only 3 days old. And that's probably going to lead to something. And another thing that happens with our space, especially in the meme world, is derivatives. So, like I said earlier with the apple juice and orange juice, I mean, cats weren't a big deal, and now all of a sudden there's been several cat tokens this week that have done amazing. So there's always a chance for second and third and fourth movers when the first mover is just going crazy. But you also have to limit your expectations. So what people often do is, orange juice will do well. Apple juice will hit 10 mil. Orange juice will come out and it'll be at a mil. But you really shouldn't be buying many other ones after that. You really shouldn't be buying, milk and water and whatever else. Because you want to see those first and second ones explode to make room for those third and fourth ones. And people oftentimes get way too caught up in it and they think, oh, this is such a hot trend right now. But you need to be more careful with that. Also, you need to realize stuff like almost every dev on Solana just dumps his bags the whole time. And then the community waits and they build up from the ground floor. And it's very hard to do a community takeover. The chances of succeeding are very low. So you have to be aware of stuff like that goes on. A lot of the teams launching right now, they're just taking advantage of the hype. So they don't have intentions of pushing it forever. They don't have, a bunch of stuff. So some of the ways I look for that is like I just keep an eye on the coin. I don't FOMO right away. I just keep an eye on the team. And something I always look for is like how many different team members are in the chat. Is it just one dev and one guy? That's probably bad. Is it one dev and he's got 4 admins and 2 of the admins are pretty active in the chat? A bunch of them are contributing to the pinned messages. This doesn't take very long to research. People are just lazy. And they just want to rely on people like myself and the other callers out there that are like, oh, these guys are so good at what they do. I don't need to do any research of my own. But you should, because it's easy. And people like myself, we don't have the time to do all this grunt work research. So we can show you the information we know, and you have to be good at using that and making the most of it. So one thing that's easy is jump in the Telegram. See how many team members are there. You want to see at least 3, but even 3 is a little low. And you want to see that like most of them are active, most of them are contributing to the pinned messages. Another thing is the community. I mean, especially if the coin's 2 weeks old, go check in, see what the community's saying. And especially if you're new to crypto, I'm sure you can learn a lot just by reading what they talk about. But it'll give you a good feel. Like, are they scared? The dip is here. The dev hasn't done anything, or are they like still very bullish on the project and everything else? So something a lot of people overlook. But just join the Telegrams and read. See how active the community is. See how many messages were posted there in the last hour by community members or team admins, whatever. And just keep an eye on how active the team is being and the community. Factoring in the narrative, how strong the narrative is, the website, the branding, how much effort did they put in, and taking a look at what the pins are. I saw a pin message today. The coin is 11 days old and they only had 10 pin messages. And the pin messages were just basic stuff like CoinGecko applied, CMC listed. That's pretty bearish. You want to see some good pin messages, man. When I see someone with like 50 pin messages and it's only 2 days old and the pins aren't just like stupid obnoxious stuff, it's actually like some pretty cool, intel in there. That's one of the things I look for. Also, who called it early? If you go through the pin messages, it'll show you, who had their eyes on it first. And if you see Mad Apes and Maestro's Gambles and Don's degens and degen, like there's a couple channels to look out for that, if they called it early, it's probably shit. Because most of these bad teams, they'll go to the guys like that because they know they're going to say yes every time. And they know if they go to someone like me, I'm going to do my research, and not only will I say no, but if I see it start to do well, I will fucking tell people and warn them, don't get trapped by this play. So just seeing who the team knows and who they want to work with can be a very good sign on its own. Like if I see a good narrative and a good name, and then I see Mad Apes and Don's Degens Gems called early, I'm like, okay, this team's probably shit. And if I have any interest in that play, I probably won't call it after seeing that, but if I have any interest in that play, I'll wait. I'll wait for the team to be done selling because they're probably farmers, and then I'll try to buy it on the dip if the community's strong. So that's just one little tip as well that can go a long way, is just seeing who called it. And whenever I look through and I see that like almost nobody's called it and it's still doing pretty well, I kind of get a little more bullish on it. Like, oh, nice. That's a good sign. And also wallet distribution, very important part too. You don't want to see a bunch of wallets with 1.5 right on the dot, because it's probably airdrops or snipers. And if it's airdrops, then you really have to know the team you're getting involved with. And a lot of these teams, they will not tell you who they are. They'll tell me because they want to work with me, but you're just taking a chance at that point. And then ask around. Ask people, what do they know about this play? That's why my private group is so great. I'll touch on my private group another time, but we have 3,800 people in there, a bunch of great admins, a bunch of great mods, and we're just focused on education. So you ask a group like us, you know, who is the dev behind this? What do you know about this? And they'll give you some good insight. There's also useful bots that will tell you, the the dev tracking bots and the bubble clusters. They'll tell you how much was sniped and like, oh, 10% was sniped to this wallet. And these are all his connected wallets. Or they'll say the dev selling bot will tell you, how much the dev has sold, how much he's used for buybacks, what he's done with the money. So keeping track on stuff like that too can be useful. But wallet distribution is huge. You don't want to see big ass wallets. You don't want to see anything over 3%. Even like 2.5% is a bit big for me. If there's a lot of 2.5s and a lot of 2s and a lot of high 1s, that's a pretty scary thing to trust. So I need to know who the team is for that if I feel good about the coin. So that's another thing to factor in, is the wallet distribution. You don't want to see a bunch of 2.0, 2.0, 2.0, 2.0s. You don't want to see too big of amounts. You want a nice healthy distribution. So those are some starting tips. And like I said, if you don't have that much money, don't invest it all right away. Try to learn how the space works. Try to put yourself out there. Try to catch on to the patterns in the space and what's going on. And don't overinvest in anything. I mean, don't throw all your money into one play. Take a look at a few different ones. A few degens here and there. A few more solid plays here and there. But when the hype that's currently going on slows down, you should shift your focus towards more serious plays. Like 70% of your port or 80% of your port are like focused on like plays that are 2 weeks old, 1 month old, that have stuck around, have good communities, teams working hard, the narrative is good or the utility is good, and it hasn't popped off yet. That's where most of your attention should be, in my opinion. And then you have some nice, safe, easy holds, and you don't feel the need to just fire off investments all day. And then just keep that 20 or 30% for some degen fun to try to make some quick flips and make a lot of money quickly by catching the right one. But right now you could kind of change those percentages because the space is so hype based right now, and degenning is pretty profitable if you get lucky. But that's just my general rule of thumb for people. So don't go too crazy investing right away. Try to figure out how it all works. And don't feel the need to come on and buy something every single day. Just take a look at the space, take a look at some of the coins, and take a longer term approach with it. So thanks for listening. I'm going to have a lot more educational content besides this. This was one of our most frequently asked questions lately, but I'm going to get to a lot more of them. So take a look at our other videos. Take a look at some of our AMAs. Some of our AMAs on this channel have been really, really amazing. So go back and look at those. You can learn something from them for sure. But you can also take a look at some of our live streams. I mean, the live streams lately have been a bit different because I've been running a coin basically. But some of the ones from like a week ago, a month ago, several months ago, all I did was basically answer questions the whole time. So might find some good nuggets of information in there. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening, and hope this helped.